What is going on, YouTube? So coming back today with a video that I promised for the last, I think like 2 days, and that's the biggest free agent signings up to this point. So the way I'm going to divvy this up is do 5 honorable mentions and then move into a top 10. So this is not like the best value signings. This is not the biggest steals. It's not anything like that. It's the signings that had the biggest impact with the biggest names, with some of the biggest teams. So let's go and start in the honorable mentions, and I'm going to start my first one, and that's Joakim Noah to the New York Knicks. So Noah went to the Knicks, 4 years, $72 million. It honestly probably overpaid for him, but we'll see how it ends up turning out, because Noah is definitely a guy that has the ability to be one of the better defensive centers in the NBA. Excuse me. And he's able to team up again with Derrick Rose over New York, so it might be a good move. We'll see. Next one, Crabbe to the Brooklyn Nets. If Portland does not match the offer sheet, this is actually not official yet, but if Portland does not match the offer sheet, then it will be a 4-year, $75 million deal. Next one, Jefferson to the Indiana Pacers, 3 years, $30 million. The Pacers lost Jan Mahimi, get Jefferson. It's a weird trade-off because Mahimi really had a breakout season last year and proved himself to be one of the better defensive centers and one of the more underrated centers in the NBA as a whole. He was still a good defensive anchor in the middle. Was actually a lot better than Roy Hibbert. And, if you're an Indiana fan or you watch Roy Hibbert, you know how abysmal that was at the end. But again, you add in a better offensive player, and it was for a pretty good price. So next one, Ryan Anderson to the Houston Rockets, will be the presumed starting power forward there. I'm assuming their starting lineup will be some combination of Pat Beverly, James Harden. Small forward is my guess. I don't know. Sam Decker, maybe. Trevor Ariza is most likely gone. He was. Michael Beasley, maybe. Who knows? He's with Houston now. So, anyway, Ryan Anderson, Clint Capella. Let's go with Sam Decker, and then James Harden and Pat Beverly. It's going to be a different-looking team next year. And then, finally, Festus Ezeli to the Portland Trailblazers for one of the biggest deals of the offseason so far. 2 years, $14.7 million. I really like the signing. The Portland Trailblazers do lose Crabbe, which I hope they can match the offer sheet, because he provides depth at wing that's going to be, at this point in the offseason, I don't know if you're going to find any more depth like that at the wing spot. I think he's the best wing left in the draft, in free agency. So, moving to the top 10. At number 10, I got Bismack Biyombo to the Orlando Magic. Now, sorry about the fly in the background. It's bugging me too. But again, Bismack Biyombo to the Orlando Magic. Is it a good signing? I don't know. The Orlando Magic have a very deep front court right now, off the top of my head. If they had kept Sabonis, it would have been crazy how deep that front court would have been. But right now, off the top of my head, they've got Aaron Gordon, Serge Ibaka, obviously the trade, Nikola Vucevic, and, Bismack Biyombo. So we'll see if that ends up working out. Biyombo still, even if he can replicate his production in the playoffs, then it'll probably be worth it, but that was the peak that we've ever seen him at. This is a guy that's not very gifted on the offensive end of the floor, unless for rebounding, but he is a very good rebounder and a very good defensive center. So, we'll see. Number 9, Courtney Lee to the New York Knicks. I really like the deal. Courtney Lee, kind of a journeyman last year. Coming over from the Memphis Grizzlies, signed for a 4-year, $50 million deal. For a lot of the players of his caliber at shooting guard, ended up getting a lot more money than him. I just mentioned Crabbe, not a shooting guard, but a small forward, can play at the 2 spot. But anyway, got 4 years, $75 million. Evan Turner, very similar situation, got 4 years, $70 million. So, the Knicks actually didn't get Courtney Lee for too hefty of a price. Number 8, I got Chandler Parsons to the Memphis Grizzlies. This one was something for like a 4-year, $94 million deal. And it's something like the Memphis Grizzlies, like 52% of their payroll now is between Mike Conley and Chandler Parsons. I really liked that the Memphis Grizzlies were able to keep their core intact and then even add a little bit. I mentioned this multiple times between the additions of Wade Baldwin and Deontay Davis in the draft, and the fact that they hung on to Marc Gasol, Zach Randolph, Chandler Parsons, and Mike Conley. They'll be competitive once again. In my opinion, they'll definitely make the playoffs again in the West, but at what price long term? So Number 7 got Rajon Rondo to the Chicago Bulls. Maybe not the 7th best player on here, but again, very different looking Bulls team that we're looking at heading into 2016. I mean, you're looking at a team that's most likely going to be starting, Rajon at the 1, Dwyane Wade at the 2, Jimmy Butler at the 3, and then probably, I'd say, either Bobby Portis or Taj Gibson at the 4, maybe Taj Gibson at the 5. So, yeah, much different looking Bulls team. Number 6, I got Harrison Barnes to the Dallas Mavericks. Again, I didn't think that Harrison Barnes deserved max money. We'll see. I mean, he does have star potential in this league. There's no doubt about that. Everyone that's watched Harrison Barnes at some point in his career has seen it. Will he meet that potential, though? That's the real question. And also, let's face it, the Mavs needed to lock up someone like that to at least stay competitive in the West, unless they wanted to just, tank, get a good draft pick. But again, the Mavericks never a team that really drafts well. I mean, everyone brings up Dirk, but outside of him, there's not much. So, number 5 got Pau Gasol to the San Antonio Spurs. I really like the signing because with Tim Duncan most likely gone, he hasn't officially declared his retirement yet, but I'm assuming he will. With Tim Duncan most likely gone, you got to plug the hole in the front court somehow. David West gone as well. A front court with Pau Gasol and LaMarcus Aldridge. That's a pretty impressive front court you got going there. So I do like the signing. Number 4 got Dwight Howard to the Atlanta Hawks. We'll see how it works out. A lot of people think it's going to work out well. Think that the Hawks system really benefits Dwight Howard. We'll see. He gets to go home. So, for Dwight Howard's sake, hope it finally works out for the first time in a while. Next one, Al Horford to the Boston Celtics. Really like the move. How much will it help the Celtics long term? Yet to be seen. 5 years, what was it, $113 million, I believe, was about the price anyone was going to pay for Horford. So, I like the move. It's what they needed to do. We'll see how Jaylen Brown ends up panning out. It looks like, especially for the way Chris Dunn looked yesterday, they probably should have gone with him instead. But we'll see. Number 2, Dwyane Wade to the Chicago Bulls. Again, hard to imagine Dwyane Wade in another uniform besides the Miami Heat, but he is going home to Chicago with a Chicago team that long-term is hurting themselves real bad, but short-term will probably still stay in the playoffs for the East. And then number 1, obviously, I got Kevin Durant to the Golden State Warriors. There's been a million things talked about. There's just new news released every single day about this move from the Thunder to the Warriors. My personal opinion, if you've noticed, I really haven't done that many individual videos about KD to the Warriors because while obviously it has a monumental effect on the NBA, he's a grown-ass man. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. I get it. A lot of people think it was a little bit of a pussy move, which, yeah, I mean, it kind of was. But you know what? For those of y'all that don't know, can't tell from the username, I do go to school at Oklahoma State University, aka I'm around a lot of Oklahoma City Thunder fans, and the day that Kevin Durant left here, you could not turn to a radio station, you could not go through any news, you could not talk to any person that was from Oklahoma, or most people that were just here in the first place, without hearing about Kevin Durant and how much of a shitty person he is. I mean, you guys have seen about the Yelp thing for his restaurant over in the city, and then there's been a bunch of stuff about his house. Not really that many people have burned jerseys. I was kind of surprised by that. There's been a few, obviously, but not too many. And then the whole Russell Westbrook immediate. I think that was one of the bigger things also what happens with Russ. That's another catastrophic effect, not catastrophic, but monumental effect from KD's leave to the Warriors. But anyway, signed for 2 years, 2 years, a little bit more than $54 million if you didn't know. So that pretty much does it for this video. I'll probably be coming back later today if there is enough news for me to do a news video. And yeah, I will be posting the NHL version of this, reposting it later today, probably after this. So that's pretty much it. See ya.